All right, it's time to do the Tuesday on March 3rd. This one is by Drew Schmenner, edited by Will Shorts, of course. And I think this was probably an oversized grid. Looks like from the dimensions. I mean, this is the point when you realize that you've been doing crosswords for far too long. When you can realize just from the title screen that the dimensions, like the visible part of this, just looks a little bit smaller than it usually does. The squares are just slightly smaller than I'm used to seeing. When you're at that point, you realize like you've been doing this for too long. Maybe not. I've only been doing this for a few years. This is certainly a decades long, lifelong hobby for many people. But in any case, this looks like it's a. I mean, there's no point in me talking about this right now. I may as well just get started with this puzzle. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see if I'm right. This is a long grid. You can see this is 16 by 15, I imagine. We're just gonna go on. Garam masala. Yeah, I actually have some with me. Um, Masala in general, I think, just means spice because there are other words like you have chicken tikka masala, you have chana masala, just masala in general means spice, I think. But I think the choice to make it a fill in the blank is fair because I think people might be more familiar with garam masala as a phrase itself rather than just masala. Mesas for flat topped hills. Houston ball player. It doesn't say what kind of ball it is, but I do know of the Astros. I think that's baseball. Notices could be, well, espies is something that probably would show up in puzzles. Espies, sort of the same thing as like see something, to see something, but just notice in that case. Broadcasts could be air. You might air something. To allow to is to let someone to do something. Less rosy cheek could be ashier. Less or most, more or least kind of tells you that they're comparative kind of words. So of course, ashy is the root of the word, and an ashier just means more ashy. In this case, ashy skin. Intentionally cause drama could be to start havoc or to start something. Painting and sculpture are forms of art. Come to our rescue is SOS. Um, raps freestyle uh in slang is to uh I thought it was spits bars. Oh, to stir the pot. It's not to start something. It's to stir to stir the pot. So this is spits bars. All right, let's go with that. Maybe I'll come back to this later. It's fun to, I mean, maybe I could address this right now, but I'll also just kind of go through and just sort of organically figure out what the theme is. But we have for one, we have stir the pot. So channel for collegiate sports fans is ESPNU, the U meaning university. Where to go in the UK is the loo, means toilet. Historic tree in Boston Common looks like elm. It's always tricky when you have these three-letter tree names. There are a lot of trees that have three letters in their name. Not worth a sou. I think it's worth putting in the fill in the blank here because sou is a old French coin. It's a very small valued coin, which is the reason why uh this phrase comes about. Not worth a sou is like not worth a penny, but like even less so because now a sou it doesn't even exist because it's just so worthless. Of course, it's been replaced by the euro. Changing genetically could be mutating. Let's see what else there is. Basketball datum. Well, you have a lot of things. You have rebounds. You have assists. Maybe one assist could be a datum, like just a single data point. Say it ain't so. I'm gonna go with that. Stinging as an odor could be an acrid odor. He-Man superhero twin sister. I think it's Shira. Classical Indian string instrument is a sitar. Crickets call, crickets chirp. To not again. Again is one of those signals that it's re something. Of course, then the last word is tie to not again. Absolutely steaming. Steaming just meaning like very furious is irate. Showed some courage. You might have dared to do something. Okay, to learn all the latest info is to be up to speed. Is to get up to speed, I think. To stir the pot and get up to speed. Don't you agree with me is am I right? And it's spelled in an informal way. So that's what it is. Ian McKellar played Magneto, and to have a meal is to eat. Yep. All right, let's see. Image problem could be blur. I think the image problem sort of talks about like image as in like perception of some kind, like a public figure might have an image problem, but in this case, image problem just means specifically in a picture, like a photograph. What kind of problem might there be? And in this case, it's a blur. All right, is awesome in slang could be to slap. I don't know. Let's see. Vinyl records is LPs, right? So it is slaps. Man, I'm sort of on the same wavelength as Drew Schmetter. I'm getting the idea that he's quite young, because there are a lot of words that I know, sort of like spits bars, slaps. This one as well. I mean, it's not necessarily a young person thing, but I think more so I would see things like this than if it was just like older people. No offense. Where to catch a Bay Area flight might be in San Francisco, SFO, stiff upper lip, and this could be photo ops or covert ops. That's right. First things first could be what this is. First things first, before we discuss other matters. Okay, a hint to the starts of 18, 26, 47, and 60. Well, I'm trying to see what this is. First things first. What does this? I mean, what does it have to do with these answers, though? It hints to the starts of these. Okay, so stir, get up, stir, get up. First stir, and then get up, and then something else. Advil targets. They might target different kinds of pain. Abbey residents are monks. An online connection is a link, like a URL. Eldest von trap daughter. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's Leal of some kind. I don't know how you would say that, but I know that's how it's spelled. Regrets. You might rue the day, for instance, that you did blah 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 thing. So keeps from being publicly known is I don't know. Cheeky attitude is sass. Let's see. Hush hush. Hushes. I don't know. Plot of land could be a tract of land. What else is there? Some natural hairstyles could be froze, short for afros. An ion is a plus or minus particle with some kind of charge. It's not a neutral atom. Defeats going away. Defeats going away. Romps maybe. I don't know what the going away means. Maybe this means like as an away team in a game, like a sports game. Sci-fi space travelers are ETs, extraterrestrials. Winter setting. Well, this is not romps. It could be routes because standard time of some kind. Eastern Standard Time in DC. What is this? Tie-dyed bit of attire could be a T-shirt, also known as a tee. Genre for wannabe sleuths. True crime is a genre for, I don't know about wannabe sleuths. It's a bit disparaging, but I get the idea, True crime podcasts of the sort, things like that, just kind of media like that. I think it's mostly for entertainment. I don't think anyone actually listens to true crime to try to solve it themselves, but I don't know. Southern cornbread pone, I don't know anything about it other than that personally. Like a cocktail with an extra shot could be, I mean, it's strong. Is it sewn? I don't know if it's sewn. I thought it was pone, but let's see what else there is. Kind of oil extracted from hemp is CBD oil. And I always mix it up with THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana. To prove appropriate for is to be fit, I guess. Lavishes love on is dotes, because it's dotes on, lavishes love on. So this looks like, oh yeah, Oreos, the black bits and cookie and cream. Shrek is an ogre. Let's see what this is. Person with mainstream likes is a normie. It's very clear that these are, just sort of Gen Z kind of words. Normie, slaps, spits, bars. Let's see. Sounds from Baby Robin are tweets. Part of a seat assignment, you might be assigned a certain row and a seat. Like a cocktail with an extra shot. Potent, I suppose. That's another way you could describe it. Present for an expectant mom or bride to be. Some gift. I don't know what word this is. Type of medical network. Could be an what was it called? HMO. Because either HMO or PPO, but I think HMO is the more restrictive one. I think you need to have a certain network. You need to have like your medical providers have to be in network for the insurance to cover it. I think HMO is what it is. Caller of balls and strikes. The umpire in a baseball game would do that. The Telltale Heart author is Edgar Allan Poe. Keeps from being publicly known as hushes up, I guess. And present for it is a shower gift. All right, let's see. With any luck, I hope. Scorching is hot, and cut the grasses to mow. And what is this? Prom goers luxurious rides. Well, something limos. But what word could go in front of limos? Black limos, Hummer limos. I don't know. They already left. Is too late maybe. Looks slack jawed at. Something with an ed maybe. I don't know, but let's go with that. Brother's daughter is a niece, and residents of Edinburgh and Glasgow are Scots. So okay, that's an S there. Looks right. Sorry, it's not ed. It's an es in this case because I misread this, but it should be looks with an s. Looks slack jawed at. Spaces. I don't know. Vote into offices to elect. Event with cowboys and clowns are rodeos. What accompanies gin and a lime wedge? Well, you have gin and tonic is the name of the drink. Stretch limos, that's what it was called. I didn't know that stretch was necessarily the word in front of it. I thought limo itself just kind of symbolizes like the stretch limo. But in order to fill out all those letters, I think it could work. Yeah. Let's see. Beneath could be under. Is that right? Yeah. Nice, nice. Okay, so I feel like maybe now there's sort of been updates to the crossword interface, but now I think there might just be a few seconds of delay, maybe like 1 or 2 seconds of delay before we actually have the finished grid. But that's nice. So let's sort of see if we can understand this theme. Now, first things first. This looks like, well, okay, we have the thing stir, get up, stretch, and then shower. And okay, now that I see the full picture, this is sort of a morning routine. So you first would stir, like you just sort of just start like getting out, like waking up. You would stir, and then you would get up out of bed, and then you would stretch. The third thing is stretch, and then for most people, I guess you would have a morning shower, so you would then shower. So first things first. So the first things are the things that you would do, I guess. First has two meanings in this case. It doesn't matter which way you read it, but one of the firsts in this case means like first, as in first thing during the day in this case, and first just means it's the first word or the first few words that show up in the answers here. So we have stir, get up, stretch, and then shower, which is a nice theme. It just brings it all together. I feel like these words were quite clean in terms of fill. Not much to really nitpick here. I mean, pone is. I guess you can make the argument that this could have been pose and iOS. I'm not really familiar with the Southern cornbread. Maybe it's a U.S. regional thing, but I associate it more with being like, I don't know, maybe it's like Mexican, South American, something like that. Pone, it might be pronounced pone. I mean, I'm just saying I don't really know what this is, but I feel like if this were iOS, I think that would have been more fair. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I really feel like it's perfectly fine. Ion is also a very common word. I mean, if you don't know what it is already, you should know because it has shown up like dozens of times at least. Like every year it shows up like a dozen times. Yeah. I also don't really know who Leo is. I still don't know how to pronounce that, but um, of course, things like this can only really be clued in a very specific way. In this case, it's the eldest Von Trapp daughter in The Sound of Music. And apart from this name, which I can't pronounce, and Maria Von Trapp, which is the mother, I don't really know any other Von Trapps, but I know there must be like 10 of them. Yeah, nice. I guess we'll just see you in the next video.